Before Netflix binges, before DV stacks in the lounge, and long before television reached every home, there was the Bioscope, that magical word used for the movies, a place where stories flickered on tiny screens and took audiences to faraway worlds. The word bioscope comes from the Greek for life and to look. Before cinema, it meant a view of life. It was coined in 1812 by Granville Penn in his book The Bioscope, or Dial of Life, which included a dial marking the human lifespan from birth to 70. Readers used it to reflect on their age and life's journey. Then in the late 1800s, European inventors adapted the term to name early machines that projected moving pictures, the very first flickers of what we now call cinema. Among them was Charles Urban, a pioneering Anglo-American film producer who helped popularise the term through his invention, the Urban Bioscope projector. His device, used widely in the early 1900s, brought educational and scientific films to the public and helped define cinema's early role as both entertainment and enlightenment. Cinema culture in South Africa grew during colonial times, when British and European technologies, and their words, arrived on Cape shores. The term bioscope, already in use in parts of Europe, came along with that influence and found fertile ground. Unlike in Britain or America, where terms like cinema or movie theatre quickly became standard, bioscope somehow struck a chord in South Africa. It became the everyday word for the movies, distinct from cinema, and deeply rooted in local usage long after it faded elsewhere. But does anyone know why? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. In one respect, the word bioscope continued to hold sway in Britain for a time. From 1908 to 1932, the Bioscope was the leading trade journal of the British film industry, chronicling everything from projector innovations to box office trends and the rise of new cinemas. In South Africa, the Bioscope was often a modest, affordable venue, especially in townships and smaller towns, where local people gathered for entertainment. That made the word feel familiar, cosy, and part of everyday life. Sometimes, when people said going to the Bioscope, they meant the actual theatre. Other times, it meant the entire outing, the excitement, the smell of popcorn in paper cones, the buzz of chatter. As one elderly South African woman remembers, the Bioscope, those were magic times. I remember holding my little brother's hand as we queued for our tikkies, the smell of popcorn in the air, and the excitement buzzing all around us. The screen flickered and suddenly we were somewhere else, laughing, crying, dreaming. Those Saturday afternoons stay with me, simple, joyful and unforgettable. For some, the word even referred to the film itself. Did you see the new Bioscope last weekend? In rural areas where permanent theatres didn't exist, travelling shows brought the Bioscope experience to the villages. This wasn't unique to South Africa. In India too, mobile bioscopes became hugely popular forms of entertainment. Painted wagons carrying hand-cranked projectors would roll into towns and villages, setting up open-air cinemas under tents or stars. Crowds gathered for these fleeting moments of magic, stories illuminated on makeshift screens, music echoing through the dust, and entire communities transfixed by moving images. The Bioscope was a symbol of joy, a brief escape from everyday life, a place where laughter, tears and adventure were shared. You'd queue outside the little tikkie box, that tiny wooden booth where the ticket lady sold you your entrance for a few cents, maybe even for a tikkie, a small silver coin worth just a few pence. Inside, the floors were sticky from spilled sweets. The air smelled of popcorn and families and friends gathered in the dark, waiting for the show to start. Maybe you went every Saturday with your cousins or best friends, a weekly ritual. The lights would dim, the projector would hum, and before the main feature there was often a cartoon, a cowboy showdown, a slapstick comedy or a kung fu flick. Sometimes, if you were lucky, you got a double feature. But the Bioscope wasn't just for laughs. It also brought grand historical dramas, like De Trekkers, the 1916 epic that retold the Battle of Blood River. For many, these films shaped a sense of identity, heritage, and even politics, projected larger than life on the big screen. Of course, there were the classic Bioscope mishaps too. Flickering screens, sudden pauses when the film reel got stuck, or that one child who wouldn't stop shouting during the quiet parts. For many South Africans, the Bioscope wasn't just a word, it was a feeling, a memory, a part of culture. But as television sets became common in the 1970s and 80s, and cinema chains grew, the word Bioscope started to fade. Younger generations grew up saying movies or cinema instead. The old Bioscopes slowly closed or transformed, and the word drifted out of everyday speech. Still, for those who remember, Bioscope carries a special place in their hearts, a reminder of simpler times, first dates, childhood laughter, and magical Saturday afternoons. So, do you remember the Bioscope? Did you ever queue for a tikkie, sit in the dark waiting for the flicker of light, or share a popcorn cone with friends? Do drop a comment below. Whether you lived it or just imagine it, let's keep those stories alive, because some words carry more than just meaning. They carry memories, and memories are worth preserving.